Well, it's about 8 o'clock in the morning, September 11th, 2025. I'm sitting out on my front porch just having a cup of coffee and a good cry. It's funny. I don't cry. I very rarely cry. But this Charlie Kirk incident has really angered me. And it made me really sad because most of the people watching this don't know me. I grew up without a father. My father was murdered when I was about the age of Charlie Kirk's son. Mind you, I had a good father figure. I had somebody that stepped in and took his place. But when you grow up knowing that you don't have a dad and your life is, you're different than everybody else because everybody else has a father, and I grew up at a time where nobody was divorced. And it makes me sad. This is where we're at. And I knew this stuff was coming. I've made many videos about this. The people on the left side of the political spectrum are Bolsheviks. And I don't want to have to give you a history to understand what they did. They're Maoists. They're what Mao did. What Mao Zedong did in China. It's the same thing. These people, they're all part of the same ideology. They want the destruction of the family. They want, in their eyes, freedom is about debauchery, decadence. There is no righteousness in these people. There isn't any. Charlie Kirk's death was a political hit. It was a political assassination, and I don't even think they're going to get the guy. As soon as I heard the news that he got killed, that he was shot, I went looking for videos, and I found the video of him getting shot up close, and he gets hit in the neck right here, man. It was like if the bullet was this far much over to the left, he would have been fine. But it went through one of his arteries, and you could see when he gets hit. And I'm going to just be honest here. I've killed enough warm-blooded creatures with a firearm to recognize what a death shot is. And when human being, anatomically speaking, we ain't much different than most other vertebrates. And when you get shot in that, and you just see him go back, on the plus side, he didn't feel anything. His blood pressure dropped immediately, and he went unconscious. He didn't feel a thing. I guess that's the only good thing about it all. But this is where we're at. This is the political climate we're at. And you should be angry. You should be mad. People should be mad. And as much as you want to retaliate against these worthless sons of bitches, you can't. Because you can't be like them. You cannot be like them. Now, there may come a time where we have to be that way. There may come a time. Now's not the time. But there's going to come a time. Charlie Kirk was unequivocally a born-again believer. If you haven't seen him talk about Jesus, I'm sorry. I've seen many videos. And this is not a guy that I watch on a routine basis. If you watch enough YouTube, he shows up in your feeds depending on what you're looking at. And nobody on the left has a presence like this, because their ideas and their delivery are nonsense, and everybody knows it. So that's why you don't see any prominent leftists on YouTube, because to expound on their nonsense, you can't win arguments. And Charlie Kirk paid a price because people couldn't win arguments with him. And there are people right now celebrating his death. There's people celebrating his death. You know, it doesn't take much. Just go online and look at him. And it is my sincere hope and prayer to the Almighty God that whoever employs these people, they lose jobs. And their stuff is out there forever, and I really hope that messes up their livelihood for the rest of their lives. We should not be celebrating political assassinations in this country. And here's the problem. These leftist media, mainstream media, has been pushing narratives that somebody like me is a Nazi, somebody like me is a fascist, somebody like me is a racist, every single day for years, for the past almost 10 years. And you have a whole bunch of people that buy into that nonsense. And we're at a time in our nation where there's a communist undertone. These people are Bolsheviks. They're Maoists. These are the people that want to do what Pol Pot did and what Mao did. Look this up, what those despots did. And they sit there and scream that Trump's a fascist. They don't even know what fascism is. And the truth be told, and I don't care what anybody says, Hitler was nothing compared to some of these other people. Hitler was nothing compared to Stalin. Hitler was nothing compared to Mao. Hitler was nothing compared to Pol Pot. I mean, I'm serious. Pol Pot murdered people because they wore eyeglasses. If they had glasses. These guys made Hitler look like a cupcake. And don't get me going on ancient history. Julius Caesar annihilated whole... You want to talk about somebody about ethnic cleansing. Julius Caesar was the master at that. People don't talk about that. He made Hitler look like a Boy Scout. But the only reason... I'm not going to even get on that. The point I'm trying to say is when people in the media villainize you and make this out in recent memory, because that's what gets people... The Hitler thing gets people's blood boiling. That these people that do these assassinations actually think they are doing society and they're doing the world a favor. Charlie Kirk was martyred. Make no mistake about it, this man was martyred because he was persecuted for righteousness' sake. Blessed is he who is persecuted for righteousness' sake. He paid a price. He fits the definition of a martyr. I'm sorry to all you ungodly people out there, or you uneducated people who don't understand the Christian faith. By the standards of the Christian faith, he was martyred. And the interesting thing is that the church is born out of martyrdom. And historically speaking, the more you persecute the church, the more it grows. And I apologize for being emotional. It's a very odd thing for a man that I really didn't know. But I grieve for his family, his wife, his children, and his mother. And I don't know if he had any siblings or not. It didn't look like he had any, but he was the only child this woman had. It's heartbreaking. Fuck these leftists. Fuck them. I'm not a person that swears generally, but man, these people are... There's coming a time, and I've said this before, there's going to be a second American Civil War. All of Western society, Western Europe is on the verge of this already. Germany's on the verge of it. The UK is on the verge of it. It's coming. And it ain't going to be pretty. And the leftists are going to lose. They aren't going to win. The Maoists aren't going to win. The Stalinists aren't going to win. The Leninists aren't going to win. The Bolsheviks aren't going to win. They're not going to win this time. It's just sad. And I find myself in a really unusual, emotional place that I don't like to be in, to be honest with you. So, I do know this. I'm going to close with this. If you think you got rid of somebody like Charlie Kirk, there's going to be 1,000 more that are going to spring up that are be just like him. Because that's what God does. God does that stuff. And the interesting thing is, this guy's name will be in history books. And all these other jokers who think they're so relevant, these leftist idiots that get paid by Democrat National Party and so on and so forth. They're going to be in a dustbin of history. No one's going to remember their name. But Charlie Kirk's name is going to be immortalized. They've turned him into a martyr. They made him into a hero. And I'm going to predict this. This is going to be the catalyst for the downfall of the leftist movement in this nation. It's going to be the catalyst for the downfall of the leftist movement in this nation. This will be the downfall of the legacy media as well, because they've already handled it really, really shitty. Anyway, I took up enough of your time. That's my rant for the day. Till next time.